Everyone who's stepped foot into King David High School over the past few weeks knows that it's National Women's History Month. Today is the very last day of March, and I urge you to pay attention to the wonderful displays around the school. The remarkable letters from various women in the lobby, to the colourful facts up the stairs and across the corridors. I've learnt so much from these displays. But do you know what else marches? It's National Caffeine Awareness Month. Yeah, that's a thing. And yes, caffeine is a big deal. Okay, not as big a deal as National Women's History Month, but caffeine is a big part in my life, and I'm really grateful for it. There's a guy called A.I. Jacobs. He lives in New York and he's a best-selling author. And he writes about how sometimes he'd sit down for a meal with his family and he'd play a little ritual, a sort of game of sorts. Who can we be grateful to today? And he'd come up with all weird ideas about people who'd made a difference and contributed towards his life. So before he'd start the meal, and he's not a religious person, he would say, "Thank you to the farmer who grew the carrots, and thank you to the lorry driver who schlepped the carrots to the shop, and thank you to the cashier who rung the carrots up." Alright, very nice. And one day his son says to him, his son is called Zane, and he said, "Dad, you know these people can't hear you, right?" And I thought, he's got a point actually. Zane has a thought. These people can't hear me. You know what? I'm going to pick a point of thanking everyone. Now, like me, A.I. Jacobs starts his day every single morning with a nice cup of coffee. So he decided he's going to make it his mission to thank everybody around the world who contributed towards his cup of coffee. So that's from the people who worked at his local coffee shop, to the designer of the coffee cup lid, to the farmers who grew the beans all the way in Colombia. So he spent a year on this exercise, and he wrote a book called Thanks a Thousand. Great book. TED Talk about it as well. And I really recommend you watch this TED Talk. You can find it on YouTube. And it's great. 1,000 people is quite a bit. And he thanks them all. And then he writes about what difference did it make at the end of the day. I mean, yeah, he thanked people, and that was like a 5-minute conversation at most, and then he moved on. What difference does that make to his life? He says, well, let me tell you, thanking people has made a big difference to his life. He's far more conscious about what he has to be grateful for, and that made him feel happier. In my classroom, in 2-on-1, I've got a poster up on the wall near where I sit, and I look at it regularly, and it says, "Who is rich? One who is happy with what they have." It's one of my favourite statements from the Talmud. Who is rich? One who is grateful with what they have. So it may be the last day of Caffeine National Awareness Month, but I'm going to remind myself to be grateful as I sip my coffee this morning. And I know that that will bring happiness to me and to other people. So let's make a little exercise today. Maybe not 1,000 people, but think of someone who you can be grateful for and say thank you.